So much of this is going to get cut. Fallout! Okay, so. I'm of two minds of the Fallout TV series. The first mindset that I have is that I'm glad that I stuck it out. Because episodes 5, 7, and 8 were my favorites. Not necessarily in that order, just those were the 3 episodes that I really liked. The other side of this coin is that if I weren't going to make a video about this, I would not have watched episode 3. So that's really kind of where I am. It's sort of a mixed bag. Again, I'm glad that I stuck it out.
Okie dokie.
So I think I'm going to start by talking about as many sort of non-spoilery things as I can. And then I will talk about the things that I liked, and then I'll talk about the things that really just drove me bonkers watching this show. I'll say right now that Battlestar Galactica just wound up on Prime Video, and so I'm gonna start watching that again, and we'll probably never watch Fallout again.
It won't be an easy journey. It'll be long and arduous.
I haven't thought of like a number for Fallout, which is really kind of interesting because when I play these games, all I think about are like the special numbers that I'm gonna put in. If I'm really gonna do the show right and just give a rating to the whole first season, it's a hard number. You know, that's a tough thing to do. Especially, I mean, television now is so weird. I mean, is this even television? They did commercial breaks. They broke it up in case they ever, you know, I guess whenever Amazon adds advertisement breaks for all their stuff, they've got it all set where those ad breaks are gonna go.
People just can't be nice.
That kind of drops my opinion of the series a bit.
Critics.
I'll think about it as I put this together. I'll put a number at the end. I don't know. I'll get there. So let's talk about Fallout. So again, Fallout is a bit of a mess.
Let's call this what it is, bud.
Non-spoilery. I guess you can't. How can you spoil something by saying that something isn't in something, but it also creates its own spoiler? I guess the thing that kind of bothers me when I think about it is there's no super mutants. There's not a single super mutant in this game, and I don't game show. There, Fallout the game show. Wouldn't that be fun? You can be turned into a ghoul, or you could be turned into, well, not a super mutant, because there aren't any super mutants in Fallout the series. I don't understand this. They've kind of gone hand in hand from the beginning, and I don't really know what to make about that. I'm sure there was a long conversation about it. I wasn't there, because I would have been like, hey guys, where are the super mutants? So if that's a spoiler, I mean, you can't really spoil something that again, you can't spoil something that isn't there. I'll say first the best thing about the series. The best thing about the series was the guy who played Maximus, the member of the Brotherhood of Steel. He was really good. None of the other actors really stood out to me. Everybody's been talking about Walton Goggins as the Ghoul, but that was just very normal, you know, and Walton Goggins in the past, right, before he becomes the Ghoul as a human,
Time.
he was fine. It wasn't anything to write home about. He was okay, but everybody was kind of okay. So here's why I almost didn't watch all of Fallout. The only reason that I watched all of it was because I knew I wanted to make a video, because after I watched Boy Kills World, I realized that Boy Kills World did what Fallout wanted to do. That's why I watched the rest of the series, just to make this video.
They call it The Calling.
They're all gonna watch and cheer as you die.
The problem with Fallout, and this kind of happens throughout the whole show, every time I start to like something, the show does something stupid that makes me regret liking it. And that's why I liked episode 5, but I didn't like episode 6. Because episode 6, especially at the very end, started doing some really stupid things that made me regret liking episode 5 and parts of episode 6. I liked episode 7. I started to like episode 8. I don't like the end of it in retrospect, the end of the season, and we'll get there. Again, this is the non-spoilery portion, so it's just that there would be a long stretch, and then they'd do something absolutely ridiculous that would just make me hate everything that was going on. I don't know that I can talk about any of the rest of this without spoiling anything, so I guess I'll do another timestamp, and that will go toward wherever I want to tell you about what I'm going to rate Fallout. Not that it really matters, because I know I don't recommend it. So I guess I can write that right here.
You know your kind ain't welcome here.
All right, so my big problem with Fallout, the reason I was going to stop watching it, was Michael Rappaport's encounter with the Yao Guai. Right, this thing stands up, and it kind of attacks him, and he runs away. I didn't really understand what was happening. I thought it happened so quickly, and I guess the point is just that the Brotherhood Knight is a coward in reality, but it just felt so stupid, and the Yao Guai looked so stupid. There were a lot of things that looked really stupid in this show that just made me not want to watch it, and it just kept happening. I remember when the Enclave scientist, I don't know, Michael Emerson, right, from Lost, multi-Emmy winner Michael Emerson, horribly misused, and he's running away from the compound at the very beginning of the second episode, and all those guns are just missing him. It's just ridiculous. Like those guns aren't gonna miss. They're gonna hit him. He's not going to be able to leave the compound. So I just, you know, I don't know. The whole show was like that for the first 4 episodes. To be honest, I don't know that I could pick and choose the things that I didn't like. I think in the first episode, when things change in the vault, when Vault 33 is attacked by the sort of raiders from Vault 32, I think what they're going for is that sort of wacky feeling, but instead it just, the putting in old-timey music doesn't make something wacky. It just gives it a soundtrack. It made me think of the moment in Dirty Work where they're supposed to like fight to like this really cool song, and instead they play Pina Colada, and it just, you know, it just became a big joke. And this wasn't really even that. It wasn't really wacky or zany, and it wasn't really funny. It was just the music didn't really fit with what was going on. The tone wasn't really correct.
When you find your true love, when you feel her call you.
I also want to point out that Jonathan Nolan created Westworld, and he created this. And in both Fallout Season 1 and Westworld Season 1, the exact same thing happens. Because in Fallout Season 1, you have the ghoul, who is sort of our new villain, right? But in the past, a long time ago, he was Walton Goggins, and he was a nice guy and a good guy who did the right thing. And so he was the guy who did the right thing, he was the good guy, but he became the bad guy. And then in Westworld, you have the exact same thing, which is you have the Man in Black, who's the bad guy, right? He's evil and he scalps these robots.
But I'm gonna make myself welcome.
Come on, Barb. Set him straight.
And then in the past, he's the nice guy, right? He's Jimmy Simpson. He's happy-go-lucky and just loves being on the adventure with Dolores. And so the exact same thing happens, because in Westworld Season 1, in every episode, you're watching both of these things happen at the same time. You don't know that you're watching those things when they're happening. Fallout's a little different in that you are watching both of these happen at the same time, but you know that they're different. But for the most part, the exact same thing happens in terms of the character story arc with our villain.
We could pump psychotropic drugs into the air supply.
We could separate parents and children, and only the smartest kids reach adulthood.
What were the other things that looked stupid? Oh, the big pink thing in the water, and then the big pink thing later in the water. Like all these things. Like I look at like the scenes with like the Brotherhood helicopters, right? And those scenes look like money. But then they'll show that Yao Guai, and they'll show the big giant nasty pink underwater creatures, and it looks like that's where they spent all their money. We're on helicopter shots and vault sets. You know, that's okay. Okay, so I do want to talk about the most Fallout moments in the show, which were, for me, there's a moment where Johnny Pemberton, who was on Son of Zorn, who plays Maximus's accidental squire, he's confronting Maximus and Lucy, and he gets shot through the neck with an arrow.
Okay,
by a booby trap planted by Fred Armisen, and that moment was great. That was like a wacky, zany moment that belonged in a Fallout show. It took them a long time to get to these nice moments.
I don't know.
It says something. I don't know how long I've been sitting here. It says something. I'm gonna have to cut a lot of this. It says something that I cannot remember the parts of the show that I really enjoyed. So the message of this. Okay, I know where I'm going with this. So the message of the series is stupid. Sorry. I can do this. Okay. The message of the series is that corporations have too much control.
Here at Vault-Tec. Welcome.
Let's call this what it is, bud. Your sales aren't up to snuff, and you need money.
Vault dwellers are 1%ers? I mean, I really wouldn't expect more from the man who co-wrote The Dark Knight Rises, in which the problem is the corporations, and they strip everything from the 1%ers.
Okie dokie.
This is what Jonathan Nolan does, which is ironic because he's probably richer than all the other people on the show. I don't know. Maybe he hates himself. I don't know. That just doesn't make a lot of sense. But okay. You know, Hollywood is where, I mean, lots of people hate that people in Hollywood have a lot of money, so I don't know why you'd do that.
My lord.
In order, my squire.
I guess I'll talk about the end. I don't know that I'll watch season 2. I mean, I know that I wasn't going to finish season 1. The only reason I'm finishing it, the only reason that I did finish it was to make this video, but I'm just not excited for season 2. I'm not excited by the end of the show, and Lucy is now weathered. And so the beginning, the first episode, she's like, okie dokie, okie dokie, okie. And she kind of loses that can-do spirit as she moves through. And at the very end, we have sort of this, like, Samwise down in Mordor in Lord of the Rings. You know, she kind of has this seasoned look on her face, right? And she's okie dokie. You know, she's become a wastelander. I'm just not excited to continue this journey. I'm just not going to go with her where she goes. It's like Game of Thrones season 2. So in Game of Thrones season 2, Jon Snow, he walks all the way from the wall to where Mance Rayder's camp is, and in season 3, he basically goes back, right? I think episode 6 is the climb, so he goes over the wall, but he's at a different spot, and so he has to make his way back to Castle Black and report on what's been going on with Mance Rayder coming down toward the wall.
You don't know?
When we went to Castle Black, we took the King's Road.
You and your roads. Is that how you lot do your fighting? You march down the road banging drums and waving banners.
But that was like 2 whole seasons of the series, was just Jon Snow first walking this way and then coming back. And both of those things were incredibly interesting. I was following his story. I wanted to know why he was going there, what he was going to find. I wanted to know how he was going to get back, what was going to happen. There were a lot of interpersonal things that were going on with Jon. He wasn't sure if he should be like the people from the North, or if he was going to be like those at Castle Black. This I'm not interested in. I don't care where they're going to go from here, so it doesn't really matter. I don't want to see Lucy and the Ghoul go on their merry journey. I don't care what Maximus is going to do now in Cold Fusion area. Who's the other character? Oh, what's his name is stuck in the other vault, and that was kind of interesting. I would say that the Vault 31 story was probably. I didn't know why they kept cutting back to Vault 33 after Lucy had left. That was a little weird, but
we kept Vault-Tec alive instead. a well-trained staff of highly supervised junior executives for my own assistant training program.
I was okay with the Vault 31 story up until the very end, and sort of learning what it was, and that they're it's just a bunch of middle managers that are frozen. I don't know. I can't. That was kind of dumb. But I mean, all the lead up to that was okay.
Because the future of humanity comes down to one word: management.
I don't think of that as very interesting. Again, I really liked the actor who played Maximus. His story was kind of interesting. You weren't sure if he had put the razor in the boot or not because of the different things that he does, right? He's a liar and a usurper, and he sort of takes. But I just, even though I liked episodes 5 and 7 and most of 8, I'm not interested at all in what's going to happen. I think episode 6 I probably could have liked too, but the when they all start like worshiping and like pulling off their vault uniforms and getting naked, that was a little weird. That was the moment where it was like the Alguai. It was pulling me out of what I was watching, and I didn't really want to watch anymore.
This sanctum of peace, of tolerance.
Oh, so I'll have to go back and insert this, but one of the other Fallout things, the more Fallout things that I really liked, I had it and then I lost it. Is that enough? Is that enough complaining about Fallout? It wasn't that good. I can't say it didn't get better, but now looking back on it, what was the point? Corporations are bad. Okay. I don't know. It's on Prime Video, which you get for being a member of Amazon Prime, which is like the biggest, most ultimate corporation in America right now. So I don't know. It's kind of hating on itself a little bit. The real question. Okay, so looking at all of these things, things that I remember, things that I don't. I loved when I don't want to get gross, so I won't get gross, but I loved when the one with the eye patch. I loved when her water broke. That was pretty great. That was a pretty great moment. I did enjoy that.
Oh, Bert.
Yes, I am Bert.
Yeah, I don't want to hate on it. I don't want to hate on it more than I need to. I want to give it the credit that it deserves. And there's this thing that I liked that I'm not remembering, but I just can't get there. I don't know. Again, it shows that, not incredibly memorable.
That's actually completely normal. It happens all the time. Every time, ideally.
I liked the conversation between Son of Zorn and Lucy and Maximus when they're getting ready to send Johnny Pemberton into the woods, and Lucy says, "Aren't the Brotherhood of Steel? Aren't they good guys?" And both Johnny Pemberton and Maximus are like, "Well, it's really complicated, and the Brotherhood of Steel really is. It's a very complicated organization in the lore in the games, and so that was kind of a fun moment."
For causing harm to a fellow survivor.
Oh, I remember. Yes. Okay. So the other really Fallout moment that I enjoyed. It's still mostly just cuts from like tragic moment to comedy, but I'm okay with it. It's when Chris Parnell he looks like he's about to cut off is about to cut off Lucy's hands, and instead he's just very quickly using this machete to cut through her rope. But the machete is very... It's very dull, and so he can't even do a good job of that. He's trying to cut through it. That was pretty funny. I enjoyed that. That was a nice moment.
It's almost there. Need to get that sharpened, please.
One of the better moments in the whole series, and I appreciated that.
You are hereby sentenced to death.
So what number would I give Fallout the series?
No, sorry, just hold still.
It's probably not this bad, but I'm gonna give it a 4.
People just can't be nice.
Episodes 7 and 8 were pretty high, and I mean the last like 10 to 15 minutes of season 1 just kind of, and now I don't want to watch it anymore. I'm not going to watch season 2, right? I played Fallout 3 like 2 weeks ago, and I'm starting Fallout New Vegas again. I mean, this is probably like my 7th or 8th go through on Fallout New Vegas. I'll just do that again. I don't need to worry about trying to watch Fallout season 2. You know, they've got money. They're going to have more money. It's like the most watched thing on Prime Video, and I'm part of that too. I watched it. But to be fair, the only reason that I watched the last 6 episodes was to do this. And so even though I liked episode 5, episode 6, again, took me out of it. I liked episode 7, and I started to like episode 8, and then the end of episode 8 took me completely out of it, where I don't care anymore, because I know exactly how it's going to go. It's going to start the way that the first 4 episodes of this did, and I'm just not going to do that. So yeah, I'll give it a 4. That's good. A 4 is good. I mean, it's not good, but it's a good rating for what I've said. I didn't like that much of it overall. And so 4 is a pretty good number for that particular rating. So thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Rodney Donahue. Go see Boy Kills World, and don't feed the Amazon Prime beast Fallout any more than you have to. It's not really even okay. It's got some okay stuff, but overall, you know, whatever. I have a feeling it's going to be like Westworld in the end, too, that they're just going to keep kind of stringing it along as far as they can. They won't actually finish the series. It'll just kind of drop out just the way that Westworld did. So that's going to be just the Jonathan Nolan product. That happens a lot in Hollywood, but I would bet that that's what's going to happen here, too. So again, I'm Rodney Donahue, and all I can say right now is okie dokie.
Okie dokie.
Jon Snow walks from the wall all the way to the encampment with the people on the other side of the wall. What were they called? I can do this. I know a lot about Game of Thrones. Mance Rayder's the leader. What are they called? I don't know. The North people. What are they called? Oh my gosh. This is ridiculous. I'm going to go with the Northmen. I don't know. What were they called? Because you got crows. That's the black. They take the black. What are the people north of the wall called? They're not the others. That's Lost. I don't know. I'm not going to figure this out.